What's up, you guys? Hey, it's Dr. Buck, and I have a very special video for you guys today. I'm here with my friend Dr. Zach Musa, and I think you have a problem that we can solve. So if you are a medical student who is looking at matching pretty soon, or even in the next 4 years, you probably are, and you're nervous about that, then this is the video you want to watch. Because Zach here has built a software program that helps you match into the program that you want and not spend a ton of extra money sending your application to 100 programs that you're probably not going to get into. And so he helps you focus in on which program that you can be accepted to, especially not only but especially IMG students. So Zach, thanks a lot for being here.
Thank
awesome.
you for hosting me.
Came all the way from San Diego. So first, I kind of want to tell everybody just about yourself, your med school, your residency. How do we know that you know what you're talking about when you say I can help you match?
Sure. I mean, as a foreign graduate, as an international graduate of a Caribbean school, we have to do a lot of things on our own. We leave medical school after. For clinicals, and we tend to find our ways through the process of applying for or going through the clinicals and residency. Yeah. So at the end of my clinical years, I felt that there are few aspects of the application process that was pretty complicated for me, and so I tried to to find solutions, and I found out that these solutions of searching for programs that are best for me was challenging. So I had to go through websites, through official services information, and I ended up realizing the information is outdated, incomplete, so I had to do it the right way. So the right way for me was to communicate with the programs through a direct phone call, specifically with the program coordinator in this case. So in the process of calling the program coordinator, I realized there's other things that you would benefit from by communicating with them, and that is you could sense the importance of the criteria they're asking for in terms of flexibility or exceptions to a criteria that a website or any other source would not give you. Yeah. So at the end of my research, I realized that many of my friends who were relying on other sources found out that this is the best way actually to
you know how many phone calls I made? Zero. I made 0 phone calls.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people give up the process because it's very difficult. Yeah. I mean, you have to call the coordinators multiple times to reach out, and also the timing of calling the coordinators is not, you cannot start it. So let's say you want to start the process in May. In May, the coordinators could be the coordinators who are about to retire for the season. So you have to wait until June, and June maybe you are still calling the coordinator who's about to leave, right? Yeah. So you have to know when is this.
P.S. You're in your 3rd year, or you're just transitioning to your 4th year of medical school, and you're doing your rotations and you're doing shelf exams, and you're doing. How many places are you going to call? How many internal medicine programs are there? How many surgery programs are there, right? So exactly. You're 400, 500, 600, how many residency programs are there? 36 some hundred residency programs total. So
the top 18
right, how are you going to get for one person to call, obviously?
Yeah, so there is different aspects of the application that you need to take care of instead of making yourself a calling agent to gather the information, right? We have the agents to give you that hard work of collecting data, and all you have to do is just provide your credentials to our system, and in a snap you get all the criteria organized according to your situation. Yeah, this is that no one can get this kind of information anywhere else.
So one of the most important things is to talk to the program about what your situation is and what they kind of accept, because the other things are the FRIDA site, and they give you some information, but it's not that great. And so I think that's what's really interesting. I want to back up just a little bit and just tell everybody what exactly you have. I mean, it's a software program, but there's a lot more behind that. Like you said, you have agents, you have people that call these programs and gather that data, and then it's, you put it into an algorithm and stuff. So can you walk us through that a little bit? And even though we'll put something on the screen, so when you're walking us through this, in your mind, then we'll put that on the screen for everybody to see.
Yes.
The website.
I mean, I don't discredit the official services in terms of information. They offer a lot of extra information, like, the pay, vacation days, and all this extra information that, maybe you're curious about and you want to find out what it is, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, they don't organize things for the application, for what you need in order for you to apply.
Yeah.
And that's what Match a Resident does. We base our search on a list of core criteria, and there is other filters for less important criteria. The core criteria are the U.S. Assembly step scores, year graduation, clinical experience, citizenship, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
If the program is IMG friendly, or if you're an IMG or not. This is an important criteria that no one, not websites or official services, tells you if this program have IMGs or not. And this is what makes us unique, is that you provide these credentials to the system, and our system does the work. Have an algorithm that calculates which programs within certain limits is best for you.
So and that's a good point, is basically what we're talking about is having somebody or something give you an idea of if you can match to this program or not. And if I applied to probably 120 programs. I got accepted to 16, and I didn't apply to all the surgery programs, right? So was there surgery programs in there that would have accepted me or would have given me an interview that I didn't apply to? I just couldn't apply to all of them. So I think this is where, to me, it's so it's invaluable to know which programs that you're close to the target, on these programs, and which ones you're not close to the target. And that's actually one of the things this is why I brought Zach on, because this is one of the questions that I get all the time. Do you think I have a chance? I'm an IMG. I'm from wherever, Philippines. I'm from Africa. I'm from St. George. I'm whatever. It doesn't matter. Those questions I get in my Instagram DMs are the same over and over. Do I have a shot at orthopedic surgery, neurosurgery, general surgery, internal medicine, family practice, pediatrics, whatever it is? And I think that this is so valuable to just give you an idea of what, if you are or not, because honestly, like I said, I had absolutely no idea if I could get these programs or not. And when I applied to 120 plus programs and I got 16 or 17 interviews, I was actually shocked. I thought that I would have 2 interviews or something like that, because as you guys know, I came from a basically no-name school at the time, and so I thought I have almost no chance, but in my mind, I was I have to score well on the USMLE, and that'll hopefully get me a program. And so when I got those 16 or 17 interviews, I actually didn't go to, I think, the last 3 or 4 of them, because I was wiped out. 15, 16, 17 interviews is a lot to go to when you're also doing clinical rotations in your fourth year. You also have limited amount of funds. We have a loan that you're basically paying for all these trips to these places, and I only have a certain amount of money, so it's really important. And you physically don't have the time to fit them all in, and so I think that would have helped me a lot as well. And like I said, I think the big one is that was there programs that I didn't apply to because I didn't think I could get, but I maybe could have got, and it would have been a better program. I don't know. So I think that's the major thing. So can you tell us, kind of explain the website? I know we're not looking at it, but if you go to the website, what exactly are the steps, kind of the broad steps that somebody does when they get to your
It's very simple. Just you have to go to the website, register an account, and right away you notice that we're asking you critical questions that will help our system calculate the the programs that you qualify for or that you can apply for, and it's instantly created as soon as you log in. You can see the whole list.
Yeah.
So from, let's say, 500 internal medicine programs, you may see 250 because we eliminated the 250 programs that you have no chance at, according to the requirements. But it's as simple as that. Then we have additional filters, like for example, the USMLE attempts. Some people have multiple attempts. We have an additional filter for them to activate it. We tend to not want people to use these additional filters because if you are able to spend or have the budget to spend on the number of applications that we're suggesting for you, then go for it, because this is a good list for you to spend the money on.
Yeah.
Now, if you're limited, then you can activate extra filters to the list. You can also further, and this is based on members' demands, to say, hey, which programs from my customized list which programs are actually the best for me. So we had to improvise and create, based on data that we collected for many years, create a score for each program. This program score is for you, so your friend may not have the same score because it looks at your credentials and the requirements and other data that has been set in the past, and creates that score for you. So it gives you the best chance. In this case, let's say you have a 215 in the USMLE Step 1, and the program, let's say you have a 230 in the Step 1 exam, and the program requires a 215. In this case, we give you more points because your score is higher than what they require, so we push the score higher for you. But we look at every criteria, your graduation, clinical experience, and everything. So if you are above the requirements in every way, we pump that score for you. That means you are better, according to the pool of candidates applying there. You're better than most candidates. So that's why it's important.
And this is interesting because when I went on my interviews, I would ask the other candidates, their scores and where they were from and things like that. And I often would go. I would be in a program that was mostly U.S. students, and their USMLE was severely lower than mine, I guess you could say significantly lower than mine, but they were from a U.S. school, and I just found that really interesting because I had no idea where I stood with these people or the schools or the candidates or where I was in all of this. And even though I remember some of the programs that the students had much lower scores than me, but I did not get I didn't get a second interview. I didn't get a match there, and so it was, I kind of filed in the back of my head what is the freaking criterion? What is the importance? I think we were talking earlier, and one thing I think that struck me a lot was that because you guys call the programs and talk to them, and this is a yearly thing, you guys call them every single year and update your software and your algorithm based on those phone calls. And so what you said is that sometimes I have a 210 on the USMLE and they require a 220. To me, I would have said, I'm not applying to this program. But because what you were saying is that, they say a 220, but it depends, right? It depends on, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, it depends, but it depends on what? I had no idea. So for you to say, people that, when they require a 220 and somebody has a 205, we may say that you need to apply to this program, even though you don't think you're going to get in because of your other factors. And what are those other factors? We don't know unless we ask the school directly. And you don't have time as a fourth year medical student to call 3,500 schools or even 500, So,
I mean, this is what I had to go through myself. It's not easy. But I realized, and the whole National Residency thing for me was an accident, honestly. I just thought I needed it for myself, and everyone else saw a benefit, saw the benefits you would get to use it. But as you mentioned, for the exam scores, nothing replaces a phone call. because you can notice in the tone if it's really a requirement or not.
Yeah.
And also, like in the official services sites, you may see the score, but there's no space to tell you, okay, this score is preferred, or
Yeah.
this score, depends on something else. If you are a U.S. citizen, for example, and not somebody requiring a visa sponsorship, you don't need that score because you're a citizen. Makes things easier for the program. Or they may end up putting the average. So the average is not really the requirement. It could be somebody with a 210 and somebody with 250, and averages to that score, right?
But they don't say average. They say requirement, right?
Exactly.
But so like
For
when
you,
you're looking at the book,
it looks like it's a requirement.
You can't tell, but each
Exactly.
program says uses that number in a different way.
That's correct.
Which is insane.
So you cannot get a sense of what's a requirement. So you end up discarding that program that could be the only program that would give you an interview.
Yeah.
And honestly, for me, as an IMG or as a person offering the service for 15 years, I noticed that one interview can get you into residency.
Yes.
It's not one. If you
Absolutely.
do well,
Right.
if you impress, and there's many ways to impress. Maybe there's other topics you will offer in your channel in the future. There is ways to impress, and a lot of people go for interviews, and even with high scores, which I've seen a lot of candidates with really high scores, and they end up not, matching.
So this is not talk about not matching, and I've said this before on my channel if you guys haven't heard. So I applied to 16, 17, I got 16, 17 interviews, and the one program, it was a smaller program. They said, we're 100% will take you, because I did my general surgery rotation there, and they said, we really like you, we want to keep you as a resident. It was a smaller program, and I wanted a bigger program because I thought it was better than I was really, don't we all, right? So I ended up not listing them on my to match because I knew that if I put them down, I would go to that program, and I thought it would be better for me. This is how stupid I was, and if I had something like your software, then I would have a better idea of if I had a shot at these other programs. And so I put these big programs, I only listed 5 out of the 17 or whatever, I can't remember how many I actually interviewed at, but I got interviews at. I only listed 5 of them because I was like, no, I'm set on going to one of these big programs. And then I didn't match. Well, I did interview, and the story basically is that I interviewed at a program that eventually took me as a prelim. And so that was a whole, I was not exactly in a good spot after I didn't match, and I didn't scramble. We had a scramble back then where you'd fax your application to everybody. It was horrible. So literally we sat there for 3 days and faxed your application to every program that had a prelim, that had a scramble spot. And after that, I didn't get any programs. And then I saw on this website, the ADPS, something program directors in surgery, and that one of the programs that I interviewed at had a prelim spot, and so I called them because I had talked to them already. So I called. That's the only program I called. One program. So I called them and said, "Hey, I interviewed with you guys. Would you consider?" And so that's how I got in, and then did a good job. So then I got a categorical. But so I wanted to ask you though about kind of you told me earlier that you did it yourself for yourself, and then you did it for a bunch of other people that you're like your friends or family or something like that. And so you essentially, that's how you started to do the match resident.
Yeah. So basically, I gathered information, all written on a paper, and then my friend saw that. Say, hey, can I use that list? I called internal medicine, family medicine, and during that time, I spent a month and a half calling them. So my friend, I had my friend use the list, and of course, they had to do the sorting. Right now, match resident would do the sorting, of course. But at that time, you do the sorting, and then my friend gave it to other people, and then I started getting more phone calls asking me for the information, and I thought, this is it's a great idea for me to just create a centralized system where people candidates can provide their credentials. And my brother at that time, he was like 11 years old. He loved computers, so I told him, I'll give you a little project to do, and he just impressed me with the first version of Match a Resident, and then we had other developers, young developers, work on it, and all of a sudden just things happened.
Yeah.
It was very much well-needed service, and continues to be today.
So the first year or 2 years, you did like 12, 15, you helped like 10, 15 people or something like that?
No, so first year we launched Match a Resident.
I mean, no, when you first did it yourself, like you did yourself, you had a couple friends, and
my entire class got copies of my research.
Okay.
Yeah, so I remember everyone got access to that.
And you were in a Caribbean school that I know, St. Matthews. We actually went to the same school, and so we both were disadvantaged severely.
Yeah.
And so you had a bunch of your co-residents or co-students, medical students, take your info and use to get matched that same year.
Yes, because the information used to exist. IMG friendly list existed before 2004. People used to sell it, but it seems like somebody did the research and posted it online, and other people took that copy and started selling the downloaded copy of it, and they realized that the research I have done, it was recent, it was more accurate.
Well, those lists, like you couldn't tell when that list was made.
Exactly.
It may have been
circulated.
5 years ago prior, and I actually the surgery programs that I got into. For my rotations, a lot of those residents would say, these are the programs. I mean, this is like, you don't know that you're just going to this program, you do your rotation, you meet some residents, maybe they want to help you, maybe they don't. I got lucky and these few residents were like, here, apply to these programs, like write them down. These are IMG friendly. And that's kind of what I based all of my applications around, which is, like, it's your career. Imagine an attorney or like, an engineer going like, oh, well, roll the dice. Let's see if I get it, if I can pay off my loans. Let's see if I get a job. I don't know, maybe not. Like, it's so crazy. So since then, you've been doing it for 15 years now. And since then, like how many, you guys obviously have lots of people a year. Do you have a number of how many residents now that you've helped?
Well, we assisted for 15 years, about 150,000 IMGs.
Wow.
For 15 years.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, so it's very well needed service if you search for it. And if you don't know, if you don't know like the right way, as you mentioned, of how to apply for residency, how to select program, then you'll end up applying randomly. So obviously not all IMGs know about Match a Resident, and that's why we are reaching out to people on social media to show the goodness in the service. It's hidden, and a lot of people think there's a replacement to it. There's no replacement, and I am, as a founder of the service, it may seem a little bit like for me to just to advertise the service, not in any way to advertise it. Really, it's really.
But that's why I brought you here. Like, you can do advertising and stuff like this, but like that, like I see the program and I get it, and that's like this was my problem, and it's probably a lot of people. If you're a med student or you're going to be a med student, like you need to know about the program, right? Because if you don't have it, you're just putting yourself at a disadvantage. And I'm always talking about my videos, like don't put yourself, number one is like don't put yourself at a disadvantage. If you can't, you can help it. And so, I talk about USMLE a lot because that's the number one thing that people look at first. They check the box, like do you have a score over X, blah, blah, blah. And then it goes down from there, So I'm like, don't put yourself at an advantage, study and crush the USMLE. And the second thing now, if you ask me, is know your score on Match a Resident. So that way you know exactly where you can apply, where you can't apply. You save money, you save time, you save headache. And, most of all, like just going into the match, like most people don't know if they're going to, like IMGs, A lot of IMGs don't know if they're going to match at all. And so now you'll kind of know, and it's like you're not sitting there for 6 months wondering, do I have a job next year? Am I going to be able to start paying these loans? And like this crazy stuff. But I do want to mention that it's not only for IMGs. I mean, yes, it kind of, you built it in that sense, like you're helping yourself and your friends, and I see the value in it for IMGs, but you know, US students and can use it as well. DO students can use it as well. Is that correct? For
DO
their
students
DO
now.
For the MD schools, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
now, because DO students, if they take the USMLE, then they can. Unfortunately, I'm actually a resident. We haven't yet added support for complex scores. So
next year,
maybe, hopefully next year we'll work on it. It's really complicated. I really want it because DOs really are a lot more demanding for master resident service than US MDs.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
For some reason, DOs maybe wanted to know which programs that ACGME accredited would take them, and that's why they're using master resident. US medical schools do have a lot of support from their dean's office, and therefore they may have some connections.
Yeah, they get a lot more help for sure.
A lot more help for sure. But non-US IMGs and non-US IMGs are mainly who really need that service.
Yeah.
Because the IMG, knowing the IMG acceptance, or if there's any IMGs in the program, is very important. These are things we focus on. We ask the program, do you have any IMGs? And if they say no, then we have a protocol when we call. The agents have a list of protocols
Secret
how
sauce.
to ask questions. Exactly. So if they don't have IMGs, we ask them, do you accept IMGs? So we don't eliminate the program just because they don't have it. Because you know, maybe they will take somebody this. So there's a lot of things. There's a lot behind the master resident algorithm and what you see visually that is being worked on, that is very sophisticated, honestly. Cool. The algorithms, the matching system, the rank assist. We have a rank assist that we have launched 2 years ago, and it's very, very successful tool for candidates when they are ranking. They just, sometimes you see on some forums people asking, hey, which program should I rank higher? Right?
Yeah.
So we developed an algorithm also based on questionnaire to give you maybe the best, also a score based, to give you the best program maybe that we would have to rank. Even though, I mean, you have to rank a program that you're going for. This is a must. If you're not,
absolutely, there's no reason not to rank it.
Exactly, but if you, based on experiences and how the interaction with the students, also we created a system with a rank assist, and also we have an iLink. If any candidates have interviewed at any program that is similar to your profile and provided us with a feedback, which we do have a lot of feedbacks for family medicine and internal medicine, we tell you which program interviews somebody like you too. Because this was a question by many candidates saying, hey, I want to know which programs invited candidates like me.
Sure.
And so what we did is we went back again to our data, and candidates provided us with a feedback about their interview, and we did a match between the profile and your profile to give you a flag or a label on your list showing an iLink. It's an iLink feature, which is very important. So there's so many ways you can narrow down to apply to the best of the best programs when you select programs to apply for residency now in September. So.
Dude, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
All right, awesome, Zach. Hey, I really appreciate you coming and sharing everything with us. I think, dude, your program is super sweet. It's going to help a lot. It's already helped a ton of people, and it'll help, I think, a lot more. So Zach's going to do something super awesome for you guys. He's going to give me a promo code. You can get 15% off of Match a Resident. Anytime you use this promo code this year, this match season in 2020, and then next year, your ass is on your own. So go to matcharesident.com and you can use my promo code, which is drbuck15. You get 15% off. All right, man. Hey, appreciate you coming once again. Thanks a lot. And
thank you for hosting me. Appreciate it.
Okay, you guys go to matcharesident.com right now, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.
Match a Resident.